Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Heather Forgan of stampwithnellie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. Today's video is for this lovely little slim box. I have used the absolutely stunning Floral Impressions Designer Series paper pack yet again. I make no apologies because I'm absolutely in love with it, and I want to use every single design. And so I picked that Designer Series paper just on the front and the back. It's too small to put anything on the side. And then I've decorated that with stamps from the Choose Happy, that little flower, masked off the leaves, and the Oh Joy there. And die cut that with one of the Unbounded Love dies. This one here is the perfect width for my little box. It's an inch wide. And then finished it off with these tiny bee trinkets that are just absolutely gorgeous, adorable. So what's inside? I have some pencils. These are natural wood unvarnished pencils, so you can actually stamp on them. Let's see if we can get that. There we are. So this one says "You're fabulous," and I used the Notes and Totes stamp set for that. The newsflash, "You're fabulous," but I just inked up the "You're fabulous" part on that. But you can use absolutely any stamp you like on these. All I would say is I thoroughly recommend only using photopolymer so you can see where you're going with it, and they do have to be very, very narrow. So you know, if you've got any stamp sets with motivational phrases, then I think that's a fab idea to just add something special to these pencils. And I do actually like these pencils. They are, I got them on Amazon. They are these natural woodcraft pencils, unvarnished, as I say, so that you can stamp on them, and they sharpen really, really well. So you get 12 in a box, I think. So yeah, I'm going to make another one. This time I'm using a different paper from the, goes that way, a different paper from the same pack, and coordinating that with garden green card. Okay, so my piece of card measures 8.5 inches by 3 inches, so nice and frugal. Got my Simply scored, and I'm going to start off on the short side, and I'm going to score that at 1 inch. That is the width of my box. Then 1 3/8. Those the 3/8 is the depth of it. Then 2 3/8, and then where am I? 2 3/4. Yes, I'm right. And that just gives us a little skinny panel at the end as a tab to stick the box together. Okay. Then on the long side, I am scoring that at 3/8. That will be the base of my box. Then at 7 3/4. Yep, just double checking. And then 8 1/8. You'll get all the measurements in my blog post. There'll be a link to that in the description for this video. Okay, so that's our scoring done. We need to do a little bit of cutting. And actually I'm going to just burnish this at the same time. So I'm using my bone folder, just making sure that my edges are lined up, and then giving that a good press. I'm doing that with all of these So by the time this video goes out, the brand new annual catalogue will already have launched, and I'll be able to order more from it. I haven't ordered very much in the pre-order, so can't wait to actually be able to buy the things that I have been waiting for quite impatiently, I will admit. Right, so what I'm doing is, this is the base. So we've got the 2 score lines at the top there and 1 at the base. So I'm just cutting up those little score lines there, and on the little squares I'm just taking out a little bit either side. Actually going to take this bit out completely, so I'm just going to take a little wedge out there. Okay, so that's how we look so far along the bottom. Right, and then I am going to cut down not just to the first but to the second score line. I'm just going to do that all the way along to start off with, and then we'll go in and chop bits out in a moment. Okay, so got them all cut. I'm going to take those ones out completely with a tiny little wedge on that tab there. Okay, now this is my tab. I want that join to be at the back, so this bit is going to come off completely. All right, so I'm going to tuck all of those out of the way, and I'm going to cut that off in line with that score line. All right, okay, so we're now like that. I want to chop the top part off these 2. Tuck that out of the way so I don't nip it, like that. And then, as I've done at the bottom, I need to do it at the top and just take a little slither off, just so you've got less bulk when you're folding it all together. Okay, so that's that done. Final bit is just to take a tiny little wedge off there, like so. All right, so we then have this shape like that. So while it's nice and flat, I am going to add my 2 pieces of designer series paper. These measure 7/8 wide by 7 1/4 inch long. Okay, doesn't matter which piece you put front and back, because you're not going to see them both at the same time. Just make sure, if you've got a directional pattern, as I have, that you got it the right way up. So with your single bit at the bottom and your double at the top. All right, I'm just going to give that a little press down. There we are. Super simple, easy. And then I have a 3/8 punch, but any small punch, any circle, or if you don't have one, you can just cut a little V there. It just makes the box easier to open. This is not a Stampin' Up one. I don't think we ever had such a small one. Okay, so I'm folding it on that line, okay, and I'm going to put glue on that pad, on that tab along there. So just a thin line of glue, because we don't want it to come oozing out. It's just a small tab. Okay, and then fold that over like so. And again, just give that a press down. There we are. And then I like to turn it over the other way and give that a press as well. Okay. So let's form the base. So we've got our front. We're moving the back piece forward. Tiny little bit of glue on those 2 tabs. Bit more than that, Heather. There we go. Okay, and then fold those over like so. Hold it for a second for the glue to grab, hopefully. And then a little bit of glue on here. Trying to move that around so we're covering most of it, and then fold that down. Give it a little press down, and as you'll see, you've got a nice neat edge at the bottom, and all of the joins are on the back of the box like that. Okay, so I have 3 more pencils. I'm going to attempt to stamp You're Fabulous on one of them. I'm just inking it up at the side of the pad. So I will get a little bit of ink on that. It's just that I'm not wasting any ink. So again, I'm using garden green here, sorry. Okay. And then I want it to be at that end because you're going to sharpen it at that end. And as I say, they sharpen really well. Because they're natural, sometimes there's little nicks and whatnot in them. So try and find the smoothest piece and then stamp. Hold it for a moment to allow that ink to transfer into the wood. And then reveal. Now, you can see I have kind of missed a little bit off the S there because I wasn't entirely straight. My Stampin' Right marker to the rescue. I am just going to pop a little bit of ink there to finish that S off. Doesn't look fabulous, but you get the sentiment. Okay, so I'm going to pop that one, You're Fabulous, then my third one in there like that. That just folds in like that, and if you've not taken too much off the side, it will fit perfectly. I've got a little fuzzy bit there that would annoy me. And we need to just do our little bit of decoration for the front. So again, I have my Oh Joy and that little flower. Already just die cut that. I thought it was easier whilst I was filming. I need a piece of washi tape. I have it on a string so I can hang it up somewhere and try and not lose it. And what I want to try and do is cover those leaves without covering any petals. So I can rip that like that, and I think I've got away with it. Just press down in between the leaf and the petals there. Ink that up just as normal. And then take that piece of washi tape off. And put that in the bin or on something you're going to put in the bin in a second. And then stamp that on there. That. Pretty. I've got a tiny little dot there, but you know what? We can cover that with a bee. And then I'm actually going to use Darling Duckling for my Oh Joy on this. Okay, so let's do the joy, the bottom. Pretty. And the O, which I've just had a flash of inspiration that could be a ho for ho ho ho. when we get to that certain time of year. Oh joy, lovely. And I don't have blends in that, but let me just see. I've got Light Pecan Pie, and I'm going to put that in the centre of that little flower, like that. And there we have it. I just need to add glue to the back of this. And then pop that in the middle. Like that. And then get my tiny bee trinkets. They're so cute. Super cute. And then what I'm going to do is pop a tiny dab of glue where I want to put it. I'm not pressing too hard with my glue. I'll put one up there and a third one down here, like so. Then get my little trinkets. They've got a flat back, and pop them randomly. Oops. I think I had more glue on my finger there than on the trinket, but we'll try again. That's better. Sorry if I made you wobble there. And one more. Just down there. Oops, not quite, Heather. Try again, try again. Like that. Hold it in place. You can still have a little bit of a play with it until that glue sets. And there we have it. I've got 2 boxes. I've got a couple more to make, but I've got plenty of those lovely pencils to do that with, and play with more of this gorgeous Floral Impressions designer series paper. I forgot to mention that this one is Strawberry Slush, one of the brand new in colours. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please do click on that subscribe button, click the bell and get notification the next time I upload a tutorial. Until then, please do take care. Bye bye.